What's going on? Pop on back in. I had to go get it fixed, y'all. I had to go get it fixed. It took a little bit longer than what I thought it was going to take. It took a little bit longer than what I thought it was going to take. So I'm sorry, y'all. I had to go fix the internet. Listen, though, I'm going to tell y'all. IG, y'all should show me some love for real. IG, I feel like y'all should definitely show me some love. Let me tell you why. Because I did not even go into number 5. I ain't go into number 5 because I wanted to make sure that I got it fixed so that y'all could be a part of the live. I made sure that I ain't do nothing until I got it fixed so that I could get y'all back into the live. I was not, no man, no woman left behind. I made sure I came back just for that. Y'all double tap on my screen real quick. Double tap on my screen if you can see me clearly, if you can hear me clearly, if it's working right for you right now, if it's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing, and you can hear and you can see on all platforms, and it's rolling how you needed to roll. Do me a favor, double tap on that screen for me. Let me see that. Just let me know. Let me know that you can see and that you can hear. And we are back. This is part 2. Appreciate you, Lynn. Yeah, man, listen, I had to go get them. It took me a while to get everything back fixed, everything back running. As y'all can tell, I had to go sit on the floor, unplug everything, plug everything back up, make sure it was running all over again. Listen, y'all know I am not an IT person, so y'all can only imagine the frustration that I was going through up there. But I said, when I drop number 5, I want to make sure all 3 platforms are running for number 5. I want to make sure that we got it rolling with everybody. Everybody is locked in. Good morning, Grand Rising, Rich Rising, Happy New Day. One more time for everybody. Good morning to you. So for those of you that missed if you guys missed the summary, y'all missed the summary. However, I'm just now starting on number 5. So your notes right now should be 1 through 4. You should have 1 through 4 on your notes. And right now we are getting into number 5. That's what we in right now. I'm trying to figure out how can I get that to drop down. No. Go away. Boom. Hold on a second, y'all. We are on number 5. I'm waiting on everybody to pop in, waiting on everybody to get up in here, and we are going to number 5, and we are still talking about the stages of transformation. We're on isolation number 1. We already got 1 through 4 already down. Talked about them this morning before the internet went out. Number 1 was God wants primary focus. Number 2 was God was protecting you. Number 3 is that He's growing your character for the future. Number 4, He was trying to realign your life, your life. So if you already say we back, Jesse J, and if you are ready for number 5, so we could close out isolation and be prepared Monday to go into number 3, the next stage, because we got one is exposure, 2 is isolation, and so we'll be going into that. Double tap on my screen, send me some love. We're gonna get back to 10K real quick. I think when we went out, Crystal, do you know what we was on TikTok when we went out? Were we already at our 200K, or were we on our way to 200K? Where were we when we went out? I don't remember exactly where we was when we went out, y'all. Over here on Facebook, I think we was right at 1,000 stars. So we need to get 1,000 stars on Facebook for sure. And I think we had like 27 badges on Facebook. On IG. So IG, we need a total of 13 badges, and we will have our badge goal for today on IG. IG will have their badge goal. Oh, we were over 200K. Oh, for real? Oh, because y'all didn't push y'all from 200 to 300. Y'all been doing 300K off the rip every morning. Yo, let's go, TikTok. Appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, I didn't even know y'all was over it already. Okay, then, cool deal. That's what's up. Yes, ma'am, Miss Donna Walker. We are definitely back. Let's get 200 stars rolling over there on Facebook real quick. Let's get into it. Supreme rising to you as well. We gonna get right on over here, and we gonna get into it. Double tap on that screen. Is it April? April Goddess, how you doing? Donna Walker, how are you this morning? Y'all double tap on the screen. I didn't even realize, man, and they already almost back at 10K all over again. So number 5 is God is preparing to use you in a mighty way. The number 5 reason of why God will pull you over into isolation is because God is preparing to use you in a mighty way. Thank you, Edie Nicole. Thank you so much, Lynn. I appreciate you guys. We need 11 more to reach our badge goal for today. Double tap on that screen. There you go. Melalicious tapping in and helping y'all out. We only need 10 more. 10 more to reach the badge goal for the day. Double tapping on the screen. Number 5 reason of why God will pull you into that spiritual isolation is because God is preparing to use you in a mighty way. Thank you so much for that love that's coming over there on TikTok. I appreciate y'all so much, man. Listen, because he's preparing to use you in not a small way, but in a mighty way. And when God is getting you in a position where he's about to use you, about to have you do a certain thing in your life, you have to know that he has to have your undivided attention. Thank you so much, Kira, for that highlight. He has to have your undivided attention. He has to make sure that you are 100% not distracted, that you're not all over the place, that your mind ain't here, there, and everywhere. When God is pulling you into that spiritual isolation, that number 5 reason is because he's preparing to use you in a mighty, mighty way. And the notes that we got for that, man, listen, I'm telling you, this right here, this blew my mind. It really and truly did. It says, God chooses, hear me out. God chooses the most unexpected people to show his glory in the world. The what, coach? The most unexpected. So here you are thinking that, oh, God ain't going to use me because of my background, because of the person I used to be, because of the things that I used to do, and because of how I used to live, all these things that God uses the most unexpected, meaning that you wouldn't even think that you would be the one that was chosen. You wouldn't even think that you were the one that he would actually look twice at to say, oh, yeah, I want to use you to do my kingdom work. Or, you know what I'm saying? Because in your mind, the enemy works the hardest with you because he knows the greatness that's in you. This is why we tell people all the time, you have to be careful when you're dealing with somebody that people look at as the black sheep. People look at as the one that'll never grow, or the outcast of the family. This is why you have to be careful when you're looking at these people and judging these people, because 99% of the time, the one that you call the outcast, the one that you look at and you think that they'll never make it, that they'll never be anything, that they're going to always be the bottom of the barrel, and so on and so forth, the ones that you count out the absolute most, those be the main ones that pop out. And when they pop out, they bring breakthrough for the whole entire family. Thank you so much, Just Me. It be the ones that everybody turned their back on, the one that everybody went outside of their way to talk down about, to discredit and everything else. Them be the main ones that turn around, and they be the ones that not only do they do it for themselves, really be, I appreciate you. They be the ones that not only do it for themselves, they do it for everybody that's in their family as well. They create a way for everybody that's in their family as well. And this is hard for, understand me, let me say this to you though. And the crazy part about it is, it be hard for some folks in the family to actually come to you for help because of the conversations that they had about you behind your back. It'd be hard for them to accept the fact that you are not that person or that thing that they said that you were, because of the conversations that they had behind your back. It'd be hard for them to receive you and all your goodness because of the conversations that they've had behind your back. And we know all of this through the story of David, right? Joseph, right? We know all of this from the story of Joseph. Joseph's brothers wanted him to be just like them so bad. They wanted him to be wrapped up in meanness and just fury, and they wanted him to get back so bad. They wanted him to do that, but Joseph was operating with that Christ conscious, which is what each and every one of us is supposed to be operating with, right? That Christ conscious, that even though you done me a certain type of way, even though you treated me a certain type of way, even though you did all of that, I'm not going to do you like how you done me. I'm not going to hurt you like how you hurt me. I'm not going to drag you like how you dragged me. Even though you and I both know that in the worldly sense, you deserve that. You deserve me to turn my back on you. You deserve me to cut ties with you and walk away from you and never do this and never do that, you and I both know that that's what you deserve. And that's exactly what the enemy wants me to do. He wants me to turn my back on you. He wants me to do that, treat you exactly how you treated me. But if I do that, then I'm participating with the adversary. Think about it. I'm no better than you. If I do you like how you did me, then I'm no better than you. If I be out here and I behave the same way that you behave, then I'm no better than you. Then you and I, we are the very same person. Understand me, this is why it's so important for us as believers to make sure that we are not walking like how they walk, talking how they talk, behaving how they behave. Again, just like we talked about in number 4, there's a distinction. There's a difference in between God's people and the world. Understand me, and we should be a direct reflection of what Christ would look like if he was still right here in this world. Thank you so much, Anissa. This is what it is. So even though the world will force your hand, hear me when I say this, pay attention to what I'm telling you. The world will try to force your hand. Trust me, they will try to tempt you. They will try to go outside of their way to frustrate you, to aggravate you, to annoy you. They will go outside of their way to try to tick you all the way off. Why? Because they want you to behave like them. They want you to give them the response that they gave you. They want you to act that same exact way that they act, so that so they can say, like, I told you so. I already knew it was going to be that. I already knew it was going to be this. This is why you have to be on your P's and Q's. This is why you have to be mindful. This is why no matter what it is that you're doing in your life, that no matter what they say, no matter what it is that they do, you stay in alignment with Christ, that you still show the same love and the same grace to people that you wanted God to show you. You treat them with that same love and respect that God has treated you. You show them that same exact forgiveness that God has shown you. This is what you have to do, because people will behave the same way that Joseph's brothers behaved, and because they feel like they deserve that get back, they deserve you to curse them out, they deserve for you to treat them poorly. They know that, so they want that from you, so they don't feel so bad about what they done to you. They want you to act like them so that they don't feel bad. You'll be amazed how many people that just want you to get your lick back. They want you to get your lick back on them, and they want you to show up in their way because it will make them feel so much better about what it is that they done to you. No, sweetheart, I'm not doing that right there. You're going to have to deal with what you did. That's it. That's all. You done what you done. I felt what I felt, and I got right on up out your face and right up out your way. Period. Point blank. You have to understand that God is going to use who he's going to use. And one thing's for sure, two things for certain, is that he don't need this world's approval, acceptance, and he don't need them to select you. You don't have to be selected by this world to be chosen by God. I need you to put that in ink. That deserves some ink right there. You don't have to be selected by this world to be chosen by God. God used some of the most people more the people that he used to do what he wanted done was always the outcasts, was always the outsiders, was always the black sheeps, was always the ones that everybody thought it would never be them. It could never be them. They mouth too dirty. They done been out there on the corner. They done been out there strung out. They done did this and they done did that. They got 101 reasons as to why God would never use you. Understand me? They got 101 reasons as to why God would never look your way or your life and your lifestyle and the way you do this and the way you do that. And God is saying to each and every one of us, listen, I don't need my selection and their selection and my choosing is not even the same. Didn't I tell y'all 110 times already? My ways are not their ways. My thoughts are not your thoughts. Them folk don't know what I'm thinking. Them folk don't even know me. Hello. Them folk don't know what I'm thinking. Them folk don't even know me. They don't know who I chose. They don't know who I called. They don't know who I put in position. They don't know who I want to use next. They don't know that. So that's why it's important for folk to learn how to keep their mouth off of folk, to stop speaking on folk, to stop carrying mess and drama about folk, because you don't know who God then called to come and do what. You don't know what type of work is going on behind the scenes in that individual's life. You don't know how he's moving. You don't know what he's doing. You don't know what door he's opening. You don't know what deliverance he's bringing. You don't know. Understand me? So that's why you should practice quietness. When you in your stillness, you need to learn how to be quiet all on top of that. Because who the world selects and who God chooses don't always match up. And we know that. Number 5 is God is preparing to use you in a mighty way. God chooses the most unexpected people to show glory in this world. Number one, thank you so much, Angela Mobley. I appreciate that, CA. Number one, we're going to say, take Moses. Take Moses. Moses wasn't even supposed to be here. If we're going to be real about it. If we're going to be real about it, and I know we after our normal time, so I get that, and I know that we tiptoeing into some of y'all's work day, and you like, well, coach, yeah, I just want to see, can we still be real? Can we still be real after 10, after we be after 10? Can we be real and say, some folks out here right now that we know for a fact that some of the positions that I put myself in, I wasn't even supposed to be here right now today. Some of the games that I was out here playing in this world, baby, I wasn't even supposed to be out here right now. Understand me, I didn't put myself in some of the, you wouldn't even believe the position, the predicaments that I put myself in. Understand me, and God was still protecting me. Still protecting me, still covering me, still providing for me, still making a way for me. Some of us had that same like Joseph, same like Moses. Moses wasn't supposed to be here, and not at a fault of his own. Understand me, not at a fault of his own, but there was an order that was put out that all the Hebrew boys were supposed to become unalive, right, at the king's order. And how? What are you saying to us, coach? I'm saying that Moses, right, was supposed to be unalive, not even because he done anything wrong, because he was a baby. He was a baby at this time. But the God that we serve is such a good God, a gracious God, and he uses whoever he decides to use. And it don't have to be popular. You don't have to be in with the in crowd. You don't have to be you're in over there with the most this and the most that. God gonna use whoever he chooses to use without the acceptance or the approval of anybody else. They put this baby in a basket. Understand me, this baby in a basket, and sent them on down the river. And that's this baby going into the river. Isn't it crazy how this baby ends up at the same house of the person that gave the orders to destroy all the male baby boys? Wait a minute, you said to destroy them all, and now you got one of those things that you said to destroy one of those. Yeah, whoa. You have to make that make sense. And now you got them over here living up in your house, and you raising them as your grandson. You gave your daughter the approval to raise this Hebrew baby up inside of your house, knowing that he Hebrew, and you just gave an order to do this. And wait a minute, ain't that kind of hypocritical? Isn't that kind of hypocritical? Pharaoh, you said this, but then you doing this. Wait a minute, something about that just ain't sitting well in my spirit. How you gonna give an order for us to go out here and you do this, but then you come right back, we in your house, and you got a little baby running around here? Understand me, that's the same exact thing that you told us to go out there and get rid of. Make that make sense, because the God that we serve, right, what I told y'all yesterday in Bible study, right, over in class yesterday, I said God has the ability to do what? To make a thing behave in a way that is not consistent with its normal behavior. And yet this is what you said do over here, but when you have exception attached to your name, then God will cause people who said that they did not like you, did not want you, that was going to go outside of their way to do this, and this, because the exception that is attached to your name, you gain favor. Understand me? So they might do it to other folk, but they won't do it to you. They might handle them that way, and might do them that way, but it won't happen with you because of the protection that God has already placed around you. Understand me? Moses was one of those people that was protected. He was chosen, he was protected. So yeah, we already know that Pharaoh was hypocritical, because you said this, but you did that, but it showed us God's power. Do you understand now how even in the smallest things, how we start to see God's power now? How we start to see God's power now. I have taught that story of Moses over and over and over, but I've never told you about the hypocritical part of Pharaoh until today, because I didn't see that at first. But now when you're studying, and you're studying with the Christ conscious, now you see that everything that we do and everything that we go through is so that God will receive the glory out of everything, including the smallest of the smalls. So now, all these times that we've studied the story of Moses, we've never noticed how the fact that Pharaoh was very hypocritical. God had to touch his heart. He had to touch his heart. He had to do something in his life to cause Pharaoh to behave in a way to be accepting of the very thing that he despised, to be protective of the very thing that he despised, to be a person that was providing shelter, food, and clothes for the very thing that he despised. You said unalive him. You said destroy him. You said go out there and do this, but the very thing that you despise is living up under your own roof. That's nothing but God. He is showcasing his power. He's showcasing his authority. He's showing you that he don't care what nobody say. When he says, always goes. And God is showing us with that story of Pharaoh and Moses that this world have not the power that we think that they have. What is it showing us? It's showing us that God right there in that just that small piece right there, God is showing us that this world do not have the power that we give it. We give it that power. We acknowledge and say that they have that power. But if we were to go and study that scripture, then we would see that God is exposing to us, this is what he wanted to do. This is what I made him do. Hey, yeah, you heard what he told him to go out there and do, but look what he doing. He got that type of power. That's what his orders was, but watch this right here. He's showing us how powerful that he is. You don't need the acceptance or the approval of this world. The world don't have to understand what God is doing in your life. The world don't have to accept or applaud what it is that you're doing in your life. This is a journey that is solely about you and God. That's it. If we pull another one, we could go with Gideon. And I've talked about Gideon more than once, right? I've told you guys over and over about Gideon. I'm exposing to you, right? Because number 5 is God is preparing to use you in a mighty way. And I'm showing you how God chooses some of the people that people have already thrown out. People that they view as, people that are, outcasts or black sheep. People that they would have never thought that he would actually even have his eye on. So when we look at the story of Gideon, Gideon says, I'm the weakest in the tribe and I come from the weakest of the tribe. There's no way that you're going to want to use a little runt like me. I'm not skillful at nothing. Why would you want to use me? And Gideon's, self-esteem and his confidence in himself was already at the bare minimum. Gideon could not understand for the life of him why in the world was he even chosen to carry out the task. So much so, his confidence and his self-esteem was so low that even though the angel had came down there to talk to him, to let him know that he was going to be the one, Gideon had to be reassured 3 different times. That's right, Jess Kelly. Because he was operating with the why me. The why me, are you sure it's me? He didn't even have enough confidence within himself, a love for himself, because he was believing everything that everybody had told him about himself. His confidence was so low that he could not even believe that the Lord looked at him and decided to use him out of everybody else when there were so many other people that was bigger, that was stronger, that was more wiser. Why choose me? He says, I'm the weakest and I'm from the weakest. And some of us, even to this day, God is over there saying, I'm trying to open a door for you. I'm trying to make a way for you. I'm trying to create an opportunity for you. And the only thing that's stopping you from living up to that fullest potential, from living that full life, from doing exactly what God has called you to do, the only person that's keeping you from doing that is you. You have that Gideon type of mindset. Why me? Out of everybody else, why me? You mean to tell, why me? They bigger than me. They smarter than me. They have more than me. They got this than me. They're more educated than me. They got more plaques than me. They have more support than me. Their platform is bigger than mine. Why would you choose me over them? And again, who the world selects and who God chooses, it's not the same thing. Understand me? That's 2 totally different playing fields. When you're talking about who this world selects and who God chooses, you're comparing apples to oranges, baby. It's not even the same fruit. Hey, don't judge me. Hold on a second. What I'm telling you is, when you are looking at who this world selects and who God chooses, you are comparing apples to oranges. Understand me, it's 2 different types of fruit. That's just how different that it really and truly is. Double tap on my screen if you're understanding it. And Gideon was operating with that why me out of everybody. He did not think enough of himself. He didn't see himself as deserving. He did not see himself as good enough. He didn't see himself as a person that was strong strong enough, that was mighty enough. But what Gideon did not know and what he did not understand, LaQuisha, thank you so much for that, CA. I appreciate you, sweetheart. He says, listen, what he did not know, what Gideon did not know was what? The greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Gideon did not know that with God, everything was possible. Gideon did not know that once he came in alliance with Christ, then every single thing that he done was going to succeed. He did not realize that God was the one that was in control of the outcome. He did not realize that. So he questioned himself. Let me rephrase it. Can I rephrase it? I'm going to rephrase it. I'm going to rephrase it because I want to change something. You didn't realize it because you didn't realize or acknowledge God's power and presence in your life. So you show up every single day in this life in 2025, behaving with the mindset of Gideon, thinking that you're not good enough, thinking that you're not strong enough, thinking that the family, the community, the place that you come from, they didn't give you the right tools. They didn't give you the right techniques. They weak and I'm weaker than them. So no matter how much God tugs at you, no matter how much he shows you and exposes it to you, because you don't believe it in your heart of hearts for yourself, you can't see it. So what I'm saying to you on this morning is, I need for you guys from this point forward, I need you to see you how God sees you. And when God is pulling at your strings of your heart, when God is encouraging you to step out on faith, when God is giving you a vision and he's giving you a plan, I need you to learn how to step out there and trust God. Step out there, drop the business, drop the brand, launch whatever it is that he laid on your heart. The new challenge is for you to trust God before everything. Step out on faith, because every time that you step out in faith, you're stepping closer and closer to him. Understand me, because now when you're stepping out in faith, you're doing what? You're stepping out and you're leaning to his understanding, not yours, because you already know that you don't know what to do. When you step out and you're stepping out in faith, you're not trusting you, you're trusting God. When you're stepping out and you're stepping out on faith, you're saying that I'm not basing this on what I can do. I'm stepping out and I'm basing what I'm stepping out on. I'm stepping out trusting you and what you are able to do. Understand me, because I've come physically as far that I can go. I've exhausted every possibility that I can do this, and this. I done lined it up. I done ran it down. I done did this, and this. So where I go from this point forward, I know for a fact that it's all going to be nothing but God. I am solely dependent on you. And the thing about it is, that's exactly what he wants. How about that? How about that? The more that we study Christ conscious, one of the things that I learned in Christ conscious is God does all of this because he wants us to be dependent on him solely. Ain't that something? That's red ink. Put it in your red ink real quick. Ain't that something? Purple flowers, I'm telling you. So as I'm reading, and sometimes when I start reading stuff, I be talking to Self, and Self be like, what's up? And I say, Self, you seen this? And Self be like, yeah. And I said, well, wait a minute. You know, we talk a lot about not being codependent on this world, but now we need to start talking about being solely dependent on Christ. And Self was like, yeah, you really need to put that out there and tell them to put it in their notes. So I showed up today to tell y'all that me and Self had came into the agreement that right there need to be one of our red ink pen notes. We need to learn how to be solely dependent on God. Not the job, not the relationship, not the friendship, not the family. Solely relying on God. So I sat back and I said, wow. I said, well, it's going to be somebody that's going to say, well, how can you do that? Says, because when you start operating with the mindset where you're solely dependent on God, then you see everything that's around you as a resource and not a source. You acknowledge in that moment that God is before everything, that you had that job because of God, that you had that relationship because of God, you have those friendships because of God. So now you value that job a little bit differently, those relationships a little bit differently, everything that you're connected to a little bit differently because of the God-like attachment. And if anything in those relationships, that job ship, that churchship, that friendship, whatever ship that you own, if it's not reflecting God in that, you are more prone to snip. You are more prone to let it go, and you will let it go quicker because of your alliance with God. I said, well, wait a minute, all of these years, and you just now tell me this, all of these years, and now you want to drop that on me? But yeah, so that's what I got. Solely depending on God. And when you're solely depending on God, it changes the way that you see things. If I don't see God in it, then I can't be in it. If I don't see God in it, then I can't be in it. Because that's who I'm dependent on. That's who I'm dependent on. That's who I'm relying on. So if there's no God in that, then I can't be in that either. Ain't that something? Girl, yes. So that's what it was with Gideon. Gideon had to, why me? Why not all these other strong people? You have to learn how to see yourself the way that God sees you, and you have to become a person that is solely relying on God, that's solely depending on God. Gideon had to see himself the same way that Christ saw him, and he had to become solely dependent on God. Why? Because he was humble enough to know that I can't do it without you. I'm not strong enough to do it without you. I'm not capable enough to do it without you. So when Gideon stepped, he had to step acknowledging God's presence and his power in his life. So when Gideon stepped, he acknowledged two things: God's presence and God's power. I ain't finished. Because we can also talk about Paul. We can also talk about David, but I've been talking about David all week. David was looked over at first. His daddy say, hey, look, yeah, I got all my sons up in here, but I don't think that this going to be the one. You know, he's the runt. He's the baby. He out there tending to the sheep. That could be very discouraging as a child when your own parent look over you. When they look over you and say, and automatically make the assumption that you're not good enough or you're not capable, right? We can look at Saul in the beginning of Saul and how Paul was out here, the things that he was out here doing before he became the Apostle Paul. Right? When he was out here doing everything that he was doing, Paul was actually the last person that anybody would have ever thought would be a believer, especially the way that he was out here unaliving every single body that was a believer. That was his mission. That was his goal. He was going out here and he was going to lay all of them down. And then all of a sudden, what? And then all of a sudden, what? He gets knocked off the horse. And when he gets knocked off the horse, he gets blinded for 3 days. And then all of a sudden, when he receives his sight back, right? Then all of a sudden, he also receives his spiritual sight all at the same time. It changes the way that Paul see life, change the way that Paul do life. All of a sudden, now Paul becomes the biggest advocate for Christ. Can you imagine how confused everybody else was? Can you imagine how confused everybody else was? This was this person, and now you saying this. Now, whoa, wait a minute. Now I thought that you was this, and now, babe, Paul. Can you imagine how hypocritical folk looked at Paul and said, wait a minute, how you become this Paul over here where you over here doing this, but now you are Paul the apostle? Now you out here, you talk more junk than anybody. You proclaim his goodness, his grace more than anybody. You got stripes on your body. You standing 10 toes about it. You going to, man, Paul was one of them ones. How you switch like that? You got folks in your life that'll ask you that. How you switch like that? Oh, you did too much for you to be, he ain't gonna never use nobody like you. Can you imagine the whispers? The members, the mumbles that was happening behind his ears, his head, the stuff that was being said about him. Paul ain't give none of his attention. Even though Paul had been through all he had been through, and he was the person that he was before that all happened in his life, right? Even though Paul had went through all of that, this man was so bold in Christ, right? They were so bold in Christ. Paul was one of those ones that even after he had did all of this here now, I need you to pay attention. This is why you can't get caught caught up in religion. This is how you can't get caught up in protocol. This is how you can't get caught up in what these people be saying and how they moving and what they be doing. Paul was so raw, and I'm talking about R-A-W, and what it was that he believed and understood the concept of to be selected by this world and to be chosen by God is something so different that even when they was out there, right, talking about the circumcision that was happening back then, because that's how they could tell how many people had actually got, you know what I'm saying, saved and all this and that or whatever. They was over there asking Paul, well, how many? Paul looked at these Christians, right there in their face and said, don't bother me with that. That's protocol. Now, Paul, what? Paul didn't say all that. Paul telling people don't bother him. Don't, matter of fact, it's exactly what he said, don't trouble me with it. Don't trouble me with that. Don't bring all of that protocol. Don't bring that over here to me. I don't have to prove. This is my favorite part of what Paul said. Paul said, I don't have to prove to you nothing. Understand me. That's how you have to walk into every environment. When you know that you've been chosen by God, when you know that God has called you and has anointed you and given you a job that you're supposed to perform right here in this earth, you don't have to worry about whether this world accepts it or not, whether they're on board with it or not, whether they're going to respect it or not. You don't have to worry about that, because your person that you're responsible or responding to is nobody but you and God. Paul looked at these folks and Paul told them, listen, hey, I got the stripes on my body to show that I've been with him. I ain't got to do what y'all do. I know what I've been through. I know the struggles that I've had. I know I got it on my body to show this is where it was. This is where I was. This is where I came from. And when you know that you know, you don't care about who else don't know. When you know what you know, you don't care about who don't know. You don't sit over there wasting your time, your energy, or your effort. You don't be over there going outside your way trying to prove nothing to nobody. Because what am I trying to do? Gain your approval, or am I trying to go after the approval of Christ? Understand me. You have to understand that I'm not looking to satisfy you. I'm not looking to satisfy you. I'm looking to satisfy him. And if I'm trying to satisfy you, then that means that I'm not satisfying him. Understand me. I don't care about how you feel about it. I don't care about what you think about it. I don't care about the conversations that y'all gonna have about it. That right there, that's all on y'all, because who God chooses to use and what he's going to do in their life, he don't have to get their acceptance or their approval to be able to do so. Right? I got one more. Somebody just say, give me one more. I got one more. I got one more. Because all of them was men. I got a woman. Can I drop her? Can I drop her? Y'all mind if I drop her? All right. Rahab. Can we talk Rahab? R-A-H-A-B. Can we talk Rahab? Because I don't want y'all to think that it's just men that this went down with. Let's talk Rahab. R-A-H-A-B. I'm just giving you examples. I'm just dropping examples so that you can fully understand that it doesn't matter the life that you've lived, that God can still use you. That God can still call you, to anoint you, and give you a job in his kingdom. That's all. I just want you to know that you are still worthy. As long as you got breath in your body, understand me. As long as you got breath in your body, you have a mission to fulfill. You have a job to do. So I want to talk Rahab real quick. Now, who is Rahab? Rahab was a prostitute in Jericho who played a key role in the quest of Canaan by the Israelites. She was recognized as a biblical hero. Her faith and courage led her to assist the Israelite spies and ultimately save herself and her family. What you said? I said in one season of her life, she was a prostitute. She was an outcast over in Jericho. But once God put his hand on her, she assisted the Israelites, and then she freed her and her family. So now do you understand when I say to you guys, when I say this, when I say it to y'all all the time, it's not just about you, it's also about who's attached to you as well. It's not just about you, it's about the people that's attached to you as well. Understand me, it's not just about you, it's also about who's attached to you as well. Rahab didn't just free herself, she freed her family as well. Can you imagine how many of her family members, come on, double tap on my screen. Where my chosen family at? Where my chosen family at? Double tap on my screen if y'all in the chat. If y'all in the chat, I want to see y'all pop up. If my chosen family is in the chat, I just want to, yeah, because they understand. I've been talking about this for a minute now. Okay, I see you, Anissa. They go body by Kira. Now you see what I'm saying, right? So when I tell you guys about Rahab, now y'all understand exactly why Coach be drilling into your mindsets all the time that I need you to focus on what you need to focus on, because you could be that generational curse breaker, right? That you can be the first to ever do it, right? You can be the trailblazer. You can be the one, understand me, that not just free yourself, but free your family as well. Because this is what Rahab, this is what she done, right? She provided a breakthrough, right? Not just for herself, but also for her family. Can you imagine, Leola, how many of her family members was judged in her prior life? Can you imagine how her family members, understand me, the same folks she set free now, let's not play with it now. Can you imagine how the family members, these same family members, right, how they was down talking her, how they was whispering about her, how they was judging her, how they was ridiculing her, how they was looking down on her the whole time that she was out there in them streets. And then look what happened. Just like that, when God put his hand on it. My God. Let me finish. I'm going to read that one more time. She is recognized as a biblical heroine. Her faith and courage leading her to assist the Israelite spies and ultimately saved her life and her family's life. Because it gets better, right? She is even mentioned in the genealogy of Jesus over in Matthew 1 and 5. So what do you say? She's a prostitute, but she's also in the bloodline of Jesus. Go read it. Matthews 1 and 5 is right over there. It's in the book. It's in the book. So yeah. Hey, what you thought this just started here today? Go read it. I had to put it out there because I get tired of people trying to down other people and judge other people and say what God will do and what he won't do and who he will use versus who, you know what I mean? Yeah. I need for you to understand. And she's also in the bloodline of Jesus. Matthew 1 and 5, go check it out, right? So as we continue to grow into that, right? As we continue to grow into that, we on number 5. I slid up too far. It says, all right, so I gave you those few people, right? So the individuals he chooses, the individual he chooses often have to go through trials in isolation and refinement to act accordingly when God asks them to put their faith in motion. Why do we go through refinement, right? We're on number 5, and number 5 is God is preparing to use you in a mighty way. But as we read on down, now we understand exactly why he takes you through that refinement. Why does he take us through that refinement? Because he wants us to act accordingly when he puts our faith in motion. Why do we have to go through a time period of refinement, coach? We go through that fire so that we can act accordingly when he puts our faith in motion, so that when he puts us up there to do the job, then we're not going to freeze up. Do you hear what I'm saying? God takes you through the fire and he puts you out there, because when he puts your faith in motion, he don't need you freezing up. Can you imagine the outcome that David would have had, right? When he go up there to face Goliath and he got that slingshot and them 5 rocks in his hand, and he's sitting over there talking about right there when Goliath Goliath laughing at him and saying to him, oh, you think that I'm a dog that you done came over here with sticks and stones? Ha, 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 ha. He laughing all up in David's face. In that moment, if David had never been through anything, right, dodging them spears up in there when he was running from Saul, the king, when he was in there going through that, if he never had to deal with any ridicule and dealing with all the bullying coming from his brothers, if he never dealt with any of those things, he would have never known how to handle Goliath. He would have never known how to deal with the taunting of Goliath and everything that Goliath was out there saying. But see, Goliath wasn't saying nothing about David that David hadn't heard his whole entire life already. His daddy thought he was a small fry. His daddy thought he was a runt. His daddy thought he wasn't going to be king. Understand me. His daddy thought that he wasn't strong enough, that he was just a boy. So Goliath standing up there laughing and taunting him ain't do no different, right? You ain't saying nothing to me that my own family hasn't already said to me. You not teasing me in a way that they ain't already been teasing me my whole entire life. So I'm not shocked that you don't believe that I can do it. I'm not shocked that you don't believe that I'm capable. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. I'm not thrown off because you think that I'm not the chosen one, that I'm not the one that is capable of bringing you down. I'm not surprised by it. Come on. I ain't surprised. But the confidence that you see that's all over me, it's not of this world. It's not of the natural realm. I don't come to you as David, the shepherd's boy. No, not at all. I know who's with me. I acknowledge the fact that I'm in alliance with God. I acknowledge his power. I acknowledge his presence. And I acknowledge the fact that when I am in alliance with him, I will succeed. I will not be defeated. I will always be a victor in this situation. I understand that it's fixed. You don't. I understand that you are about to experience a great defeat in front of everybody that's out here. You don't. Why? When you go through a isolation stage that's attached to that transformation, God is already exposing to you exactly what it is that you're about to be doing. He's preparing you. He's training you. He's conditioning you. So when your faith is being tested, understand me, when it's put into motion, then you will act accordingly, which means that you will not freeze up. This is why you're tested. This is why you're tried. This is why you put to the fire. Don't that change how you look at it? They had to trust that God would do exactly what he said that he would, and that he was and is the great I am. I just want y'all to write in my chat, all three platforms, the great I am. The great I am. Can I get 100 stars over on Facebook? Facebook, can we get 100 stars? We don't have no motion on Facebook. Can we get some motion over there on Facebook? The great I am. The great I am. Double tap on my screen for me real quick. How you doing? Is that Kenyatta Brown? Kenyatta, how you doing? Amanda, how are you doing this morning? Double tap on my screen real quick. Appreciate you so much, Kira. Thank you, Anissa. Let's go. Can we get 5 badges on IG? Can I get some blessing over there? Double tap on that screen. I want to talk about it now. It says they had to do what? They had to trust that God will do exactly what he said that he would do. In other words, when they stepped out, they had to step out knowing that they're not stepping out in their own strength, that they're not stepping out in their own capabilities, that it was something beyond them. They knew that they were about to experience a supernatural experience, that what was going to happen in their life was going to be under the authority of the great I am. Understand me? They had to understand that. They knew that. They processed that inside of themselves, that I know that me, David, just a little boy, I can't go out there and take down this big old giant, but I know that if I step out there and I am protected by the great I am, I know that that giant, it gotta fall. There's no giant that's big enough. There's no obstacle that's big enough. There's not even darkness. Understand me? Because the great I am, he says what? Even darkness is like light to me. Understand me? I see right through the darkness. There's nothing that anybody can say or do that I'm not, that's bigger than me, that's stronger than me, than me, that's more mighty than me. They already knew that when they stepped out and they stepped out in faith, they knew the great I am was stepping right there with them. And when you step and you step with him, it's different. When you step and you step with him, it's completely different. It's completely different. Let's go on down. And it says, one observation that has always stuck with me is how Jesus didn't take all 12 disciples up in the mountain. He only chose Peter, James, John to witness his transfiguration on the mountain with Moses and Elijah. Not everyone is meant to go to some depths and relationship with God. And I say that to say that there's sometimes in our life, right? There's sometimes in our life where we want people to go with us so bad. We want them to be a part of that journey so bad. We want them to, but they just can't, they can't go. Look at Ali. Hey, listen, I'm just being honest. It's just some places that they just won't go. Not because they don't love you, not because you don't love them, but because of what it is that you're doing and how it is that you're moving. Their level of understanding, they can't process that. Their heart is filled with so much doubt, and their mind is all over the place. Understand me, this is why I tell you guys all the time, I don't ever want you to feel bad for having to separate yourself from folk. I don't ever want you to feel bad for having to create a safe distance in between you and people, because it did not just start with you. When Jesus went to the mountain of transfiguration, he did not take all 12 of his disciples. Some of his disciples just could not go. Understand me, it wasn't even that he did not love them. It wasn't that he wasn't there helping them and doing this and that. It was just what we're about to go do, what we're about to experience. This right here, this ain't for the faint. This right here is not for the sometimey. This is right here, this is not for the 1 foot in, the 1 foot out, the hot and the colders. This ain't for them. What I'm about to go do and what these people are about to experience is going to be something that is going to be mind-blowing. Understand me? And I only want to be surrounded by folk that I know that are 100% on board with what it is that I'm doing. This is why it's so important to be surrounded by like-minded folk. Understand me? If I got something big that's happening in my life, if I got something big that's taking place inside my life, I want you to know this right now. I don't need no Debbie Downers over here around me. I don't need no pity party patties over here around me. I don't need no complaining Cindy's all over here in my ear. I don't need nobody over here telling me, well, it sounds like a good idea, but maybe you should do this. Well, I don't know about that because there's so many other folk that's doing it. I don't need no negativity surrounding the thing that I'm about to do. So I understand exactly why Jesus only took who he took and left the rest behind, because there's going to be some folk that you just can't share it with, that you will not be able to celebrate it with, that you will not even be, it just won't be. So when he went, he only took those he knew would actually get it. You have to stop feeling bad, feeling guilty for moving on without him. We are all blessed with a divine right of choice. We're all blessed with a divine right of choice. Understand me, this is something that we all have. And just because you want it don't mean that they want it. Just because you're willing to go don't mean that they're willing to go. And when people make up their mind and say that that's not what they want for their life, we have to learn how to bow out gracefully and go on about our business. Because we cannot continue to self-sabotage, trying to force something on people that they are not yet ready to receive. And when you're doing that, you're doing nothing but draining yourself. When you're doing that, you're doing nothing but ruining yourself. When you do that, when you behave that way, you have to understand that in that moment, that hurt, that heaviness that you feel, that's you trying to put your expectation over there on other people. You have to step to the side and allow people to be who and what they are. That's it. That's all. I'm gonna let you do what you do. And I'm going to go right on about my business. If God has picked you out of this world, know you are special to him. And he has very special and specific work he needs you to do for the kingdom. Stop trying to figure out why you were chosen, why me, and get to work. When God has tugged at your heart and gave you an assignment, something that he wants you to do, you don't have time to be worrying about what the world think about what it is that you about to do, how they gonna feel about what it is that you about to do. You don't have none of the those that word is going to be for, is that they're going to receive that word. Understand me. And the ones that word is not for, they're gonna have to, you're gonna have to dust that up off of your feet and continue with your mission. As good as Jesus was, right? A man who had absolutely no sin, as good as Jesus was, he still encountered people that did not receive him. What you say? As good, as gracious as Jesus was, walking around, healing the sick, giving sight to the blind, opening up the deaf man's ears, healing folks' skin of leprosy, understanding me, working all these miracles left and right, all of these things, he still ran into folk that rejected him. He still ran into folk that judged him. He still ran into folk that did not receive him. And you, my dear, understand me, us on this earth right now in 2025, we are going to still have those same exact type of experiences. We're going to run into some folk that's not going to accept us. They're not going to receive us. They're not going to receive the word that we give. We're going to run into some folk that they can't wait to judge us. They can't wait to bash us. They can't wait to try to humiliate us. They can't wait to try to discredit us. Thank you, Ashley, for the CA. Understand me. They can't wait to pull us out of alignment. They can't wait to trash talk us. They can't wait. No matter how good you are, no matter how much word you have, no matter how much love you show, you still gonna have a hater. Yeah, I'm gonna just say it. I'm gonna drink my water because you is. You still gonna have a hater. I don't care how good you is to folk. You still gonna have a hater. And the thing about a hater is this right here. You can be helping them and they'll still hate on you. It make me scratch my head every time I say that. You can be helping them, going outside your way, giving to them, supplying them, giving them half of what you got, all of that. And a hater is still going to be a hater. And they will still be hating on you while you're trying to help them. It doesn't matter how good you are of an individual. You're not going to be exempt from it. Jesus also had haters. He had people that did not receive him. He had people that, that decided that I'd rather stay in the situation that I'm in than for me to deal with somebody like you. And I'm going to tell you right now, I had this experience yesterday. I'm on my TikTok and I'm scrolling my TikTok, and on my TikTok, all my platforms, y'all know, are motivational and inspirational platforms. On my platforms, all I tell you about is loving yourself, developing a relationship with Christ, knowing that you're more than enough, always uplifting, always inspiring, always encouraging people to live their very best life. But I always will have that one individual that'll jump into my comment section and say, y'all want to talk about everything except for homosexuality. Y'all want to talk about that? Well, baby, if my platform was set up to discuss homosexuality, maybe that's what I would be talking about. But I didn't come over here to talk to you about who you was laying in your bed with. I didn't come over here to talk to you about that, because that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm not concerned about your bedroom business. I'm concerned about your soul. Hey, what you want me to do? This ain't the podcast for that. You know what I mean? You have to go find another podcast that's going to talk to you. You can't turn my platform into what you want it to be about. Well, I understand how the enemy operates, right? I understand how the enemy operates, and I know that there was a direct jab at me. I know exactly where you was going with it, but I had to then come back and say, whenever God gets ready to do whatever, I didn't say this, but this is how I live, right? I don't pay these type of people no type of attention, because you have to be direct when you're talking to me, right? When you dance around and you say certain stuff and you don't say it directly, that means you don't want me to respond to you, really, right? Because you want to make it a general statement with the hopes that I won't get on you, right? But I tell people all the time, you can't embarrass me or humiliate me about something that I do proudly and loudly, right? There's no secret over here. I'm not somebody that you can expose. I'm not somebody that you can humiliate. I'm not one of those type of folk. I stand real firm, real 10 toes to the ground about everything that I am. That's it. That's all. And when I go in there and I read all of the things that y'all read, I'm not seeing what y'all see, which then leads me to believe that you're basing that on your own preference. That's what I see. Because when I see men lovers of themselves, I see people that are arrogant, right? That are cocky, that are conceited, that are wrapped up in themselves. I'm trying to see what you see because I don't see it, especially because you have to show that to me. And nobody have successfully broke that down to me. Don't compare me to nobody else. I'm gonna tell you right now, just as clear as the day, and I really wanted to say this morning. If y'all think that y'all about to get one of them lesbian videos from me, that they be like, oh, me before Christ and me after Christ, if y'all think that y'all about to get one of them from me, you ain't. You're wasting your time. That you're not. This is how I was, and this is how I'm gonna be. This is how he came and got me. This is how he chose me. This is what he decided to do. I was over here throwing LGBT parties, minding my own business. He the one who said, go get that book. I can't help that. The way you got me is the way you got me. That's just what you're going to be dealing with until God say something else. And if you think that I'm going to be running around here with this open, no. People that do that, and I'll say it 100 more times and say it to their face. Folk that feel like they got to change the way that they dress because they didn't got into Christ, they not changing it for Christ. They changing it for the people. Understand me? Because they don't want people to judge them. They don't want people to say nothing to them. So they go get husbands and they go get dresses and they go get pumps and whatnot, and they run out there to try to please people. I'm not here to please people. I'm not here to satisfy you. And I'm sure not about to lay up with no man. I can tell you that right now. Yeah, I can tell you that right now. Don't care. Hey, not about to happen, sweets. Not about to do it. I'm not in it to please. Okay, drink the water. I'm just telling you, I ain't lying. And y'all ain't finna force me to try to be nothing to please nobody. You can't, you have to find sensitive people to try to come at. You have to find sensitive people to try to come at. You just can't come at nobody like me because, again, I'm a very transparent person. I know this is just who I am. And I can tell you right here where I stand. If God ever lays it on my heart that I need to do something different with my life, I need to change my life, I'm always open to deliverance. I'm always open to change. I'm always open to growth and development. I don't claim to have everything together, and I think that's the main reason why a lot of people support me and support my platform. I think that's the main reason why people see me, and when they see real. I like her because she's real about who she is, and she don't tiptoe around it either. Understand me? She's not one of those people that say she's one way this day and then another way that way. That's not who she is. She's her true, authentic self, and I can respect and appreciate anybody that is true, that is authentic. And when she gets on, everything that she talks about is never about any of that. She ain't getting into this. She ain't getting into that. She comes on here and she gives you motivation. She gives you inspiration. She gives you that word and she go right on about her business. How can you find a problem with that individual? Because no matter how good you are to people, how much you love people, how much you pour into people, no matter how much you tell people to be their true authentic self and to be that unapologetically, you're going to always have a hater. Yep, you're going to always have a hater. I had a hater, but I ain't saying nothing. I had just took her off my page. That's all. I just had to go off my page and I went on. I don't be having time no more. I used to argue with people on social media. Not about that because people ain't never been that crazy to come over there and bother me. They know how I carry on. But, sometimes people will, subliminally try to say something and then I be having to get them together. But this time I just had to hit the block and just went on. And it says, if God has picked you out of this world, you know you are special to him, and he has a very special and specific work he needs you to do for his kingdom. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. But God has chosen the foolish things. Listen to this. But God has chosen the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. And God has chosen the weak things of this world to confound the things which are mighty. 1 Corinthians 1:27. When I read that, then I started to realize exactly why God always does what it is that he do, right? God always does what he do because he's always going to use who you think that he wouldn't use, just to see where your heart posture really is at. Because those that truly believe is going to see through everything. They're going to see through whatever mistakes that you've made, whatever it is that you got going on in your life. They're going to see slam through all of that. And as I was reading that scripture, the only thing that I could think about was back in 2017. 2017, I dropped my first video. And when I dropped my first video, it was no intent on going viral at all. I was just sick and tired of this life and the things that, how this life was, right? I was tired of it. I was frustrated. I dropped that video, and I tell y'all this all the time. I woke up in less than 24 hours. It was at 6.4 million. Me being the person that I am, right? Being the person that I am, I was cursing like a sailor back then, baby, because again, I had no desire to be a motivational speaker or inspirational speaker at all. This was not in the cards for me. I had already made up my mind what I was going to be and what I was going to be doing in my life. I knew what I wanted to do, but what I wanted to do and what God wanted me to do, it wasn't the same thing. I had to become a person that was obedient. I had to become a person that listened and that followed Christ to the very fullest. I woke up and it was at 6.4 million. Majority of that 6.4 million were all people who were Christians, who were believers, and all of their captions was reading. Listen, look past all the cussing and listen to the message. She is anointed. She is called. Me, this is how I know that people, those who believe, they believe. And they see things different. They hear things different. People who have a form of godliness, right, but deny the power thereof, they only base everything that they do, they base it off of what they see with their natural eyes, because they are fleshly driven, right? They are driven by the flesh. So it has to look a certain type of way for them. It has to walk a certain type of way for them. It has to be a certain type of way for them to receive it. But those who are in Christ, understand me, they see past all of that, because they understand that none of us are perfect, right? So they see past all your imperfectness, right? And they see who you are at your core self. They see what God is really doing up under there, and in their mind, it's in just a matter of time. There's no rush. There's no time frame, because they know that God's time and our time is not the same. So what do? That even though they may not like this, they might not support that might not be their thing, but they love you through every step of your life, every step of your transition. They just keep loving you, and they keep pouring onto you and into you, and they just keep on with that love so much that that love takes root, and it gradually shifts. Like we said, transformation is not instant, it's subtle. I started to learn what love was, and I slowly went from being what I thought that I was going to be forever to being the woman that I am now, right today. So this is why we have to always understand we might not look the part. We might not be what everybody is used to. We might not show up in life like how everybody thinks that we're going to show up, and we may not live how everybody wants us to live. But I go back to then, 2 Corinthians 1:27. But God hath chosen the foolish things of this world to confuse the wise. And God has chosen the weak things of this world to confuse the things that are mighty. Just because they don't understand it doesn't make you wrong. Just because they can't comprehend it doesn't make you wrong. If God can use David, if he can use Paul, if he can use, who all did we have in there? We had David. If he can use Moses, if he can use Gideon, if he can use Rahab, then God can also use you. Stop counting yourself out. Start to see you the same way that God sees you. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praise of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. 1 Peter 2. and 9. Right? So with that, we conclude the 5 steps of the spiritual isolation during transformation. Reasons of why God will, in fact, isolate you while you're going through your transformation. 1 was God wants your primary focus. 2 was He's protecting you. And 3 was He's growing your character for the future. 4 is He's trying to realign your life. And number 5 is God is preparing to use you in a mighty way. Don't let the enemy trick you into thinking that you are worthless. Don't let the enemy trick you into thinking that you have no value. Understand me. Don't let the enemy trick you into doing those things, right? Because a person, if you're not a diamond digger, if you're not a person that digs and know what real stones and stuff are, if you don't know what real stones and all of those things are, you will be out there kicking rocks all over the place, right? You'll kick rocks all over the place. But a person who has an eye for rocks, for stones, for gems, they see rocks and they see rocks and they see them differently. You might kick it and think that that's absolutely nothing. Then they go over there and they pick it up and they take it in there and they get to brushing it off and they get to cleaning it and doing everything, and there it is, a whole entire diamond. You saw it as something that was worthless because you didn't have an eye for it. You didn't have on the right type of glasses. You didn't see it, you didn't see the worth of that because you weren't trained in that area. So that thing meant absolutely nothing to you. But because it looks worthless to that person, don't mean that it won't be a diamond to the next person. It doesn't mean that it won't be a ruby over to the next person. Doesn't mean that it won't be a pearl over there to the next person. Understand me, everybody have a different view. Everybody sees things differently. And what we are having to do, right, what we're charged to do is you go find your tribe. You find your tribe, you find your community. And sometimes that means leaving the people that you know and that you love, not because you don't know them and not because you don't love them, but because your assignment is different. All right. Every single day that you wake up and you put 10 toes to the ground, I want you to sweat yourself. Tell yourself how beautiful you are and how much you love you, because it's no love like self-love. And you first have got to love yourself way before you are able to love anybody else. Of course, it's your favorite online motivational speaker, life coach, and evangelist. It's your girl, Street Poet. I absolutely love each and every one of you guys, man. You guys go and have an amazing, amazing day. I will talk to y'all soon. And I also thought it was funny too, y'all, though, because of this right here. Like, never mind. Don't worry about it. I tell y'all in the Patreon. I tell y'all when we get to the Patreon. Don't worry about it. I love y'all. I want you guys to have an amazing, amazing day. Y'all go and be great. Stay focused. Stay locked in. And remember that you matter. Remember that you matter. So thank you so much for this message. No problem at all. I absolutely love you guys. And I want you guys to have a beautiful day. I'll talk to you.